My name is Peter, and I'm founder and CEO of a very large software platform. We're out of beta, stable code. It's very large, about 600,000 lines of finished code. What we do is we're in the event production support business. We have the largest software application in that entire business. So it's a very, very large platform, a little bit like maybe a multi-headed hydra. We do everything from ticketing to social network to automating email process, mobile app processes, forward-facing website processes. It's a very, very robust system. I had a very difficult problem that I was facing, literally catastrophic, in that the company was primarily myself and my partner. I had founded the company and funded the company, and then I had a brilliant CTO that brought everything to production code. A great combo. And over the course of working together for close to 6 years, bringing the project to life out of beta, at the moment that we came to the point of realizing we're coming to market, it became unfortunately vividly clear that his goals and my goals were very, very different. Extremely different, irrevocably different. And that created all kinds of natural drama, as you could imagine. Most significantly was this individual is a really, really smart person. And therefore, because of his worries, instantly became something of a formidable opponent in wanting to split the company and what's going to happen, and things got really scary and really ugly really, really quick. I regularly attend a technology group, and Walter is also a member of it, and we got to know each other socially for quite some time, actually, before I knew what Scorpion was and what he actually did. And there came a point in time when I understood what he did, and my company got in trouble, and I asked him for some advice. So Scorpion helped me resolve this challenge in 2 phases, a very short-term phase and then a long phase. The long phase first, which was Scorpion was extremely technically competent in managing the 2 companies splitting up and the code splitting up and all of the effective things that went along with the escrow. But the thing that they did that was so important, incredibly important, is that Scorpion's reputation of being a powerhouse technically and having very, very high integrity settled my partner down. It just plain settled him down. There was something about my partner when he was at his most anxious, having me on the other side of the table as being the charismatic businessman and him being the technical guy, just freaked him out. And the moment I brought Scorpion in, and my partner knew he was dealing fundamentally with his equal, and he had others to talk to on the subjects that concerned him on a very high technical level, I can't explain why, but it just settled it down and got it to a workable place. I believe that dealing with a less formidable technical powerhouse than Scorpion would have created an unfavorable outcome for me. I found working with the Scorpion consultants very pleasant, a great relief, in that with my story, I was going from huge drama with a very scary outcome to, because of Scorpion's professionalism, personality, and technical skills, letting the whole thing settle down and just settle down into something that was a much more relaxed outcome. So the first part of the engagement was all of those people skills, and the second part of the engagement was just tracking through and getting the job done, and there literally wasn't a hitch. My old developers had a lot to be twitchy about, and nothing that Scorpion ever did got them twitchy. I had adequate budget, but not a lot. And Scorpion did not give me any discounts. But what they did do was they managed very, very carefully to scope. That was extremely impressive to me because they should be paid what they're paid. And there's an old saying that experts are expensive, but amateurs are ridiculously expensive. Is if I had amateurs, I can think about all of the muddy messes that this thing would have turned out to be. In essence, what happened was Scorpion came in under budget. And the reason they came in under budget is extremely simple, which is you get very high quality people at a reasonable rate with exact scope, and everybody does things correctly with both personal and technical skills, and life works out great. So the benefit of the Scorpion solution had a short-term benefit and a long-term benefit. The short-term benefit was getting everybody comfortable that nothing crazy was going to happen as we were going to go through our escrow process of having my partner and I split the company and go our separate ways. And so the first thing was the escrow and managing the escrow and going through the escrow. The second thing was assuring that my company could continue after this split by having appropriate, competent technical support after the split with my earlier CTO. The thing that's different about Scorpion and other firms is other firms have a fundamentally different outlook on how to do business. With other firms, you've got the people in the firm, and they're in the firm. And you're hiring those people and their skill sets in the firm. And if you're lucky that those are the right people for the time that you do business with them, great. But that creates secondary issues. With me, with Scorpion, because Scorpion has something they call the Concierge service, because Scorpion, the first thing they do after defining scope is they choose the best of the best of the best to work with you. What I know is on each project, and believe me, because I've built such a huge software platform, I know that each project's different. They just are. The skills that are required are different. That Scorpion defines scope, finds the best people, and then we get the best people on the job. That creates a sense of confidence in my mind and a much better, a more trustworthy, how do I say this, a much more trustworthy economic envelope. Because I know scope, I know the people, I know how much an hour, I know what's going to happen, whereas with the other types of companies, you kind of really don't know what the outcome is going to be. And in addition, I say this because I've managed many of these styles of projects. With Scorpion, Scorpion is more managing me, whereas with the other companies, I'm having to manage them down to the tiniest detail. I always joke down to the pixel level to make sure it's right, because the joke that I was told when I first got into this business is if you don't manage them down to the pixel level, there's only one thing guaranteed, is they're going to give you what you don't want. And that's very different in my experience with Scorpion. Scorpion actually was extremely responsible in driving the project with bi-weekly phone calls and sending timesheets and managing, sending me CCs on emails and managing the whole project all the way through. They were very, very professional. There was even a point in time when, for some of our own internal reasons, we had to put the project on hold for a couple of weeks. And Scorpion knew it, put everybody on hold, and then when it was time to wake it up, we got going again. There were even a couple of times when I had higher level people at Scorpion call me and say, Peter, what's happening? You know, where is everybody? And so they drove the project in a very professional way. Scorpion responds very quickly. My experience was that all phone calls were returned within 4 hours, text messages immediately, emails overnight. They were extremely responsive. obviously because of the sensitivity of my relatively simple technical job of the escrow, but the very complex personalities that were going on, this was important. And their communications were excellent all the way through. My situation improved very, very quickly. And because in the beginning, this was mostly personal drama between people, myself and my partner, who had a huge amount invested in this company, a lot to lose, a lot of worries, and nothing to really clear the clouds or get it fixed. And the unique thing that happened was when I brought in Scorpion, both in terms of high integrity and heavy-duty powerhouse, there was something that happened that caused everything to just calm down. That alone got things to calm down a lot. And mostly because the other side, my partner, knew that he couldn't bluff anybody anymore on anything. And that created a great sense of calm among everybody. I think he realized that it was actually better for him to have someone to talk to. So within the next several weeks, as we defined scope and the relationships formed between my Scorpion part-time CTO and my ex-partner and my developers, then things really calmed down a lot. The concept of a virtual CTO is an interesting one. I didn't know about it. I'm embarrassed that I didn't know about it until I began to work with Scorpion. And my experience has been superb. So with Scorpion's concept of concierge service, and in part that means choosing a CTO and who is also a part-time CTO, my experience has been phenomenal. So my choice, the person that is with me, I feel fully confident leading forward into the coming years. We can finish each other's words. He's really the right person personality-wise. He's the right person technically. And it's a great concept. It's a great idea, and it works really well. I frankly don't think the idea would work with a company that didn't have the concierge concept like Scorpion does. The point is, part-time CTO sounds nice, easy to say, but that person needs to be the right person. How do you find him? But that part-time CTO is really only of value in terms of how well he can handle his high-level skills, but which people he can get underneath him for the particular job at the hand. So a part-time CTO that does not have a vast number of talented individuals at his choice kind of doesn't work. And so the concept, therefore, in my mind, of part-time CTO is linked to the concierge model. And without that, it sounds nice, but it's not really there. Yeah, so my part-time CTO was chosen in large part to deal with the personalities that were involved in the project. So, of course, for technical skills, but also because this was a fundamentally volatile situation, a company that could have exploded, that was likely to explode. And he needed to be able to build the confidence of my existing team. And he was great at that. He was really, really great. And he did it in a professional way. Social skills, one. But the other thing was, in a very, very professional way, defining what the job was that we were up to doing. What was it we were trying to do? Therefore, what was scope? And within what we called an escrow, what were we really going to do? Because those things that he said we needed to do could have been challenged. If they weren't right, if there were extra bits and pieces or not enough, that would have been an opening to be challenged. But it turns out the way that my virtual CTO structured the escrow and was pretty firm about what needed to do and not needed to do, he was challenged, but every single thing he said to do was correct, and that caused the other side to mellow out. Scorpion took a very strong leadership role. And once we were underway, they really managed the process, in large part because they were right, and everything they said was right. And once we got everybody to agree to it, it was fine. But in the beginning, Scorpion had to push back against me because I had some ideas of what we needed to do that were not right and would have unnecessarily increased scope. And there were some other pieces that they explained were critically important that in the beginning my partner didn't think were important at all. And I didn't understand why they were important, and Scorpion insisted. And it wasn't just my part-time CTO, it was every contact I had at Scorpion insisted this is the way to do it. So they pushed back in mass of the right way to do it. Scorpion has a model called the Concierge model that I had heard Walter talk about in passing a few times, and I actually didn't truly understand it until I began to do business with him. Now I understand it vividly. The Concierge model makes a ton of sense in today's development world, software development world. And fundamentally what it says in Walter's vision is Scorpion's intention is to gather the best minds, technical minds in the world that want to work together, that like to work together because they like working with like-minded, brilliant others, and therefore have a pool or a group of people then that you can choose from to choose the absolute best person for the best job. And when you do that, you go from the functional specification of what you want to do to defining scope and then figuring out who you need and going out and getting the best of those people. And as a result, you get the best bang for your buck and the best quality. It's a really interesting concept. The Concierge model, the way it worked for me, was those people knew exactly what they were going to do, and they drove the business to exactly match scope, and nothing went wrong. So therefore, the Concierge concept has a huge value to me, because as I move forward, I go to Scorpion, to my virtual CTO. We decide what we need to do. He goes out and finds the right people. We do functional spec, define scope, get going, and we do it in a very quality way. That's the kind of thing that I can talk to investors about and have it make sense. It's a very, very different way of doing business that so far has worked very well for me.